Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something that the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to give my little thoughts here on this whole Anthony Joshua step-aside situation because I've seen a lot of people having a lot of things to say about it, and I haven't got my thoughts out there on it, so let me get my thoughts on it. So, Anthony Joshua, obviously he's in a very interesting point in his career. You know, he lost the fight to Usyk. There's a lot of speculation about what he might do next. He hasn't really came out and said, you know, what he'll do next. But there was an offer for him to step aside, a massive offer for him to step aside, to potentially allow a Usyk versus Fury undisputed fight to happen. And you know, in boxing, as business goes, you know, if sometimes, you know, it has to work out for all parties involved. You know, there was a number, I guess, that Anthony Joshua wanted as far as step-aside money. Fury made him a lucrative step-aside offer, or Fury's team made his team a lucrative step-aside offer. They decided it wasn't to their liking, so they didn't take it. And more importantly, you know what? Whether he would have taken step-aside or didn't take his step-aside money, the reality is, you know, he's not taking step-aside money. Like, he's not going to take step-aside money, which, you know, I know the Usyk fight isn't officially signed, but I would be led to believe, based on what Anthony Joshua was saying and based on his character in the past, because all I can do is go off of how he's been in the past. I have no reason to believe that he's not going to fight Usyk next. You know, if he's not taking step aside, or not taking step aside money, because we know Fury and the Dillian White purse bid just happened, so they're gonna fight. So he's not gonna fight. Joshua's not fighting Fury, and he's not fighting no Dillian White next. So eliminate them two. He's gonna fight Usyk, and you know what? I know it's very popular here on YouTube to hate Anthony Joshua and say that he's a hype job and that he sucks and all these things. And listen, I'll be honest, I think Anthony Joshua, you know, maybe a little bit overrated, but you know, Anthony Joshua, one thing we can say about Anthony Joshua, and if you say otherwise, if you say otherwise, you're just a hater. Straight up, you're just a hater if you say otherwise. One thing we can say about Anthony Joshua is that he does not duck or dodge anybody. And in fact, you know, I'll be led to believe that without Anthony Joshua, this division would suck. Honestly, this division would suck without Anthony Joshua, because it was Anthony Joshua in that period of time where Deontay Wilder was holding the WBC belt hostage and Tyson Fury was not even in boxing. In that little time period, Anthony Joshua was the guy taking the risk. Anthony Joshua was the guy that was injecting all the life into the division, selling out stadiums, you know, being that big box office attraction, you know, being one of the guys that, whether you like it or not, helped carry the sport of boxing on his shoulders from a mainstream standpoint for a couple of years. So when you talk about Anthony Joshua, don't you dare flap your gums or fix your lips and say something that is disrespectful, because this is a man that deserves his respect. You know, even if you think his skill set isn't up to par where it should be. You know, so I think he is fighting Usyk, and if he is fighting Usyk, I love the message this is sending, because what he's basically saying is that I made enough money. It ain't about the money for me. I can retire comfortably. I don't need to make $29 million, $25 million, or $15 million, whatever it was. $15 million, $25 million, that's changing my couch. What this is about for me is legacy. This is about being great. It's about going down as one of the best heavyweights in history. You know, and he's basically saying that I would rather risk the opportunity of losing $25 million or $50 million and losing a rematch to Usyk than to take money to step aside so another man can become what I was supposed to become, which was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So, you know, you gotta respect that. You gotta respect that. So, yeah, man, we'll see what happens. We'll see how things play out. But I think he will fight Usyk, because this is a guy that's fought the who's who of that heavyweight division. You know, he fought, you know, Vladimir Klitschko when he only had so many fights. He fought Joseph Parker when Parker was undefeated. He fought Povetkin when Povetkin still had a lot of gas left in that tank. He fought Dillian White at the British level for the British title. You know, he's tested himself. He fought Usyk when he could have. Listen, people have other things to say about Anthony Joshua. He didn't have to fight Usyk. He could have vacated the belt. He could have fought an easier opponent. He could have fought an easier mandatory. But he wanted to know how good he was, and he tested himself. So full respect goes to him. Pops, you got anything to chime in about the whole step-aside situation?
Yeah, I think to be fair with Joshua, you know, he's always tested himself on the limits, regardless of what you want to think about with any other fights he's had in the past, or any fighters he called out or whatever. And this is the big challenge for him, not just physically but mentally. boxing for quite a while. The heavyweight division for a few years, and I'm going to continue doing it. I'm going to challenge myself. And if I lose the fight, then I can just hang my head high and say, okay, that's right. Instead of taking step aside money, people can say, oh, you just want to duck Usyk, that's why you take step aside money. So I think for him, he'll be a peace of mind whichever way it goes. But he wants to prove to the British people in the boxing that he's got it. And I think he's going to come out and throw more punches and be more active than he was in the last fight. He learned a lot from that. So kudos to him, no matter what people think about him.
Absolutely. And you know, look, I really see it as a win for Joshua, because if he beats Usyk, that enhances his legacy. It makes him 3-time heavyweight champion, 2-time unified heavyweight champion.
I think by him beating Usyk,
best opponent on his resume, hands down.
And that would be even a bigger fight for Fury.
Yeah.
Bigger fight for British boxing, because now this guy went in there, challenged himself, and redeemed himself from his last fight. And you're only as good as your last dance, and he went back to the same dance and he beat the fuck out of Usyk. So for him, then you have Fury and him going, him and Joshua. Imagine that fight in the UK.
Absolutely, massive. I mean, it was massive before, but it made even more massive.
Oh my God! Because of how he came back.
And like, you know, it's funny. It's funny how boxing fans operate, because sometimes boxing fans tend to romanticize the fighters of the yesteryear and back in the day. But the reason that we value guys like Holyfield and Lennox Lewis and Muhammad Ali and these great heavyweights of the past is because it's not just because they were great fighters, but because when they lost their fights and people wrote them off, they found a way to come back and become heavyweight champion again.
Like Ali said, doesn't matter how many times you get put down, it's how you get back and answer that call and stand back up. And I personally think that Josh is going to come out and be more. I'm telling you, he's going to be more active in the fight. He's going to throw them punches and prove people like, hey, you know what? Even if I lose this fight, or if which I doubt even if I lose this fight, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, because he's not going to win if you take side money. People are going to come out, the casuals are going to come out and say, oh, you did a big duck.
Yeah, they're going to say like
either way,
he wants $20 million to sit on his ass, you know, all this stuff. So, you know, make of that what you will. But put some respect on Anthony Joshua's name. He ain't gonna take no stimulus, sidestep, welfare money to let somebody become the undisputed champion. He wants to defend his dirt. He wants to defend his legacy, enhance his reputation, and he's willing to put it on the line and fight the guy that I rate right now as the pound for pound #1 fighter in boxing, undefeated, the most true champion there is in the sport of boxing, Alexander Usyk. So put some respect on Anthony Joshua's name. Otherwise, you know, that says more about you than it does him.
I feel.
You know, I very feel. We're gonna see what happens, you know, when the rematch happens. But leave your comments down below. What do you make of Anthony Joshua and the rematch, and him not taking the step aside money? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. You know, True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, you know, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God bless.